Where the Supreme Court proceedings in petitions challenging the results of the August 9 presidential elections are underway. During the pre-trial conference on Tuesday, the court outlined key issues the judges will consider to determine the case against William Ruto's win. In his petition, Ruto's main challenger, Raila Odinga, claims votes were manipulated by hackers. The Supreme Court has ordered the Commission to give Odinga's alliance, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, access to any servers containing voting and results transmission information. The court is expected to rule on all challenges by the end of Monday next week. So what's likely to happen at the Supreme Court of Kenya, and what are the implications of the possible rulings expected by Monday? CGTN's Mudimba spoke to Donnex Juma, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, for more insight on this.
The Supreme Court of Kenya will have two possibilities: upholding the election results and nullification of the election. I'm joined by Donnex Juma, who is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and he will be telling us more about the two scenarios: what will happen if the elections are nullified, and what will happen if the win is upheld. Thank you so much, Donnex, for joining us today. So, what will happen if the election is actually nullified?
Now, once elections have been nullified, then the expectation is that the court will direct the IEBC to conduct the election within 60 days. We also expect, there are some prayers that the petitioners have prayed for. One is that they want to remove Chebukati from conducting the elections. Of course, we will be keen to know and to see what the court will say with respect to that, because ultimately it affects whether or not the 60-day timelines that the court will give, or rather the Constitution provides, will be able to be adhered to. But we expect on the 5th, once the elections are invalidated, directions are issued that we have elections within 60 days. It is expected that IEBC will begin to undertake mechanisms for purposes of undertaking the fresh election. By fresh election, I mean all the other parties that participated, apart from these two parties, that is the President-elect, William Ruto, and Raila Odinga, will be participating. So we expect that IEBC will undertake all mechanisms that are necessary for purposes of undertaking this election, including training of presiding officers, printing of the ballot papers, and all the mechanisms that are necessary for purposes of undertaking this election. Now, the next avenue will be that within 7 days, the committee in charge of assumption of office will undertake mechanisms to get us a date for purposes of swearing in the president-elect. In terms of political angle, I expect a lot of shifts because very many politicians are now in the middle, are waiting to see how things are going to go. The next frontier now will also be the question of Speaker of the National Assembly, which is very central in our constitutional dispensation. But the critical thing will be the swearing in of the President-elect.